Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. My brothers, my sisters, you and I know what happened in Turkey, Syria, and a few of the other places. A few other countries were affected as well. I want to start off by saying that those who say that this is a punishment of Allah, they have absolutely no right, no authority from Allah Almighty to declare that. There are so many innocent souls who have lost their lives, children, widows, those who have struggled and suffered all these years, men and women, and you cannot just declare that this is the punishment of Allah. In fact, a person who dies in this type of an earthquake would actually be considered a martyr in rank in the eyes of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So it's very dangerous to make those statements. We are saddened by what has happened, and this is, from what I see, one of the worst that I've known in my life. May Allah Almighty truly grant alleviation to those who are struggling at the moment. I want to quickly tell you that what was required in the initial hours and still is required, experts in rescuing those who are stuck under the rubble. So for people like you and I to go there and to try and help with food, medicine, water and so on, in the initial days they wanted us to back off a little bit in order to make way for those who are professionals in rescuing people from rubble. And as time passes, slowly but surely, they're opening up to everyone else as well. But it's very important that only relief workers and those who are seriously going to be helping out, as well as families of those who are stuck. Like there are so many people across Europe and not just Europe, but across the world, a lot of people of Turkish origin and people who have loved ones there, they are affected because their families are affected. So for them to go as well. It's very cold, it's icy weather. With that, rescue operations, people, a lot of survivors, many have lost their lives. It's a very sad scenario. So the assistance that you and I can render is that of food, blankets, water, medication. That's the most important thing for now, as well as some warm clothing. There are going to be makeshift tents that we would have to put up. Already they're there. Makeshift tents for people to stay, even though the weather is freezing. So it's really a tough situation. I was very saddened by some Muslims saying, no, this is the punishment of Allah. That is unacceptable. You can't say that. And if you have said it, you need to seek the forgiveness of Allah Almighty, because any calamity, anything that strikes, there are so many people who were so close to Allah Almighty who were struck by the same. You cannot say that that was a punishment. In fact, they returned to Allah as martyrs. And then there may have been some people who might have been within the disobedience of the Almighty and so on. For them, it's a different scenario. But nonetheless, whenever a calamity of this nature strikes, we must give people hope. We must reach out to them. We must make sure that we've done something tremendous for them to the best of our ability. If you notice, each time there is a disaster, the next disaster seems to eclipse the previous one in magnitude. And that's something worth noting, because as time is passing, it's becoming even worse. So we ask Allah Almighty to help us, to guide us. And may Allah Almighty grant us ease and goodness. I'm seeing some of the comments here. It is heartbreaking indeed. And people from across the globe are rendering a lot of assistance. Millions of dollars have actually come in. And I'm sure there are so many legitimate bodies and organizations and charities that are carrying out the work. Please make sure when you do donate, you give someone you trust, because we wouldn't like them to be scammed. We wouldn't like them to scam us either. The aid needs to get to the recipients by the will of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And yes, indeed, it's not only in Turkey, although Turkey's been affected the most, but other countries have been affected as well. Syria, Lebanon, as far as Greece and Egypt, it's really, it's humongous, it's big. We ask Allah Almighty to protect all of us and